Welcome back. Archive Dive has somehow reached 8,000 subscribers. Nothing feels real anymore. The updated goal is a spooky 20,000 before Halloween. Thank you for all the support. I'll keep the videos coming. I'll quickly remind everybody of what led to the CeX challenge. A manager in a local CeX store said to me, "As a company, we professionally wipe all our storage before we sell it." As we've seen on the last two parts of this challenge, that isn't always true. And many of you have reached out. Customers, CeX workers, and even former store managers, sharing the many concerning discoveries you've made over the years. Stories of franchise stores not entirely following policy. I've been told tales of corporate overlords allegedly cutting costs by refusing to replace the computers required to perform data security operations. Whether these stories hold a grain of truth or not, as a company, they have definitely developed a reputation for not wiping, which is just kind of ew. It's why you should always wipe after sex. It's hygienic. We've looked at USB sticks and hard drives, but what about SD cards? Wiping these couldn't be more simple. Whack them in, do a proper format, and that's it. Wham bam, thank you ma'am. You don't need to shred files, just zero each byte, which is pretty quick on any modern card reader. You don't need to be an ultra knowledgeable tech wizard to format an SD card properly. So that begs the question, does CeX wipe SD cards before selling them? Let's get started. This time on the CeX challenge, we're looking at 5 SD cards, 4 regular and 1 micro. 2 times 1 GB SD, 128 MB, 256 MB, and 1 times 1 GB micro SD. I've included lower capacity cards this time. It's not just because they are cheaper, but also because they're more likely to have been used in digital cameras, and there's genuinely no excuse for failing to do a proper format on them, which would only take a few minutes at most. SD cards aren't always as cheap as the hard drives are on CeX, especially for higher sizes. Even when they are cheaper, the flat postage price makes even these 10p SD cards total to an egregious £3.10 when delivered. And then they sometimes end up delivered like this, in a parcel that won't go through the letterbox. This parcel contained 2 SD cards. These could have been in a letter-sized packet that fits through the hole in the door, but no, that would have made too much sense. I'll connect the SD cards to my computer using a USB card reader and examine their contents. We'll check to see if there are any files already left on there. Then we will attempt data recovery to see how many files we can discover. And then, provided there's something to recover, we will recover those files and explore them. For CeX to win a point, no files present and nothing recoverable either. If I can recover a single file, or there are any files on the route, we get the point. Item number 1 is a Wii-branded 1GB SD card. These were sold to be specifically compatible with Wii consoles, so I've been hoping to see some Wii leftovers on here. Save files, homebrew, an old version of the Twilight hacks, maybe photos somebody used for the photo channel jigsaw puzzle. While we scan the card, let's go over this comment from @moafwaz5563. Thank you for writing. This feline says, "I mean, you didn't really show anything being done. It's not that hard to mine data off HDD, sure, but this feels very low effort." I will address this now, if I may. Yes, what I do isn't particularly clever or special. There's very little you can do to dress up the process of recovering files. We could sit here for 2 minutes and watch Recover scan the device. We could show that for every single card we look at, but there's something called brevity. That's where you cut things out to save time. We could instead watch the green bar slowly fill up until the scan comes back clean, instead of simply saying, "I scanned the Wii SD card and it was also empty." But that would be boring. You raise a good point though. The editing on these videos isn't flashy. That's in part due to the self-imposed weekly schedule. But I think that's also why this channel has resonated with so many people. Sometimes you just want simple videos, and a creator's authentic voice. There's room on this platform for both the flashy and the not so flashy. For the people who appreciate that, I thank you for your continued support. The card came back empty, by the way. Item number 2 is a second Wii-branded 1GB SD card. I'm going to deploy some brevity here. In much the same vein, not a single file even showed up using Recover or QPhotoRec. The SD card is indeed completely empty, besides for the 2 hidden files Windows placed on the device when it was inserted. Due to the way flash storage works, it is possible that due to humidity, heat, or just not being used for a long time, these SD cards may have effectively wiped themselves. But I'll give the point to CeX regardless, since for the purposes of the challenge, the SD card was ultimately clean. Item number 3 is the 128MB Boots branded SD card. I inserted the card into the reader and there has been no attempt to perform a wipe at all. The card itself is so filled up to almost its entire capacity, and because it's full, there wasn't enough free space for recoverable files to exist. Needless to say, this card was not wiped prior to being sold, either by the previous owner or CeX. Now, anybody who has watched last week's episode has already seen my cock, my code of conduct. If you have privacy or ethical concerns about what I do here, this is my response. This will also be the last time I discuss my cock in any great detail, so be sure to commit it to memory. Cock. Anything taken in a bedroom or intimate setting I will not show. Any photos matching this description will be shredded. If found, I will format the media afterwards to prevent future recovery. Photos taken in public spaces are absolutely fine, but faces and minors must be blurred. Anything that could be used to identify a person, private company names, phone numbers, license plates, must also be blurred. Got it memorized? This just in, apparently my cock isn't good enough for you. According to this anonymous email, I didn't even realize you could send anonymous emails. Of course, unable to reply because it comes from a no reply address, which is, is great. So you don't want to have a conversation, you just want to talk to a wall. That's fine. I'm the wall, I hear you. The main thing from this email is that face blurring is not great and can still identify people. Here's an example of one of those tools in action. Yeah, we all know that the image on the left is Barack Obama. The image on the right is, I don't know, it's definitely not Barack Obama after unblurring. But let's say you've got a point. The suggestion was a simple black square. What I'm just going to do is use the channel logo over people's faces, which does mean I've had to go back and edit this video again. But, the things I do for you, when my cock isn't good enough, I try to be better. Well, with that covered, let's take a look at what was on this SD card. The photos were taken with a Canon IXI Digital 55, a 2005 digital camera with a 3x optical zoom. There is metadata for 2008, so the date and time information is likely correct. Further backed up by these being taken in June, and this poster at Sanderstead Station talking about June offers. The photos on this card depict a train journey made by some distinguished, slightly older looking women, setting off from the Sanderstead Station, South Croydon, journeying to Ascot, to engage in some horse race watching, and possibly even taking part in the Tote Swinger betting game, according to some visible signage. Royal Ascot always takes place in mid-June, which further backs up the authenticity of the metadata. How the other half live, huh? Since these videos are so low effort, I'm kidding, no letters please. Let's wipe this card. Here's how to do it within Windows Explorer. Right-click the drive in Computer or My Computer, or whatever it's called in your version of Windows, and select Format. Uncheck Quick Format and press the Start button. It's the only way to ensure the safety of this operation. I see. Set Quick Format to Off, got it. That's right, Snake. By the way, did you know it's pronounced CeX, not CEX? That's all it takes to wipe a card. Item number 4 is a 256MB Hammer SD card. The card reported itself as empty when inserted into the reader, but I was able to recover almost the entirety of the photos and videos it previously held, though 34 images were corrupted and couldn't be viewed. Let's take a look at the files that are on here then. I've culled a lot of these, since they're photos at a family gathering somewhere in India, and there's a lot of photos that are either inside of a house, or taken on top of their veranda or roof. The photos I definitely can show with a clear conscience are those of gatherings in public spaces, some of which were taken in India, and some more terrestrially in the UK, specifically Croydon. Now, it's interesting that two cards back-to-back feature photos taken in Croydon, so I really scrutinized the two cards. Same camera too, the Canon IXI Digital 55. Indeed, I am certain that both cards belong to the same couple, as the resemblance between photos across both cards is uncanny. Presumably, these cards were traded into CeX together, and then purchased by me at the same time. Some photos show the Selsdon Park Hotel in Croydon, February 2007, smothered in snow. Others show a market and various landmarks in Mumbai, such as the gateway to India or the now closed Tendulkar's restaurant. I don't think it occurs to people to wipe their cards thoroughly, though at least some attempt was made here, even if only a quick formatting. Oh, the videos. I wanted to share a small portion from one video.
My favourite hotel is Selsdon Park. I love it. In fact, I wouldn't mind my ashes over this place.
Without getting too morbid about it, I hope that this woman has managed to get her ashes spread at Selsdon Park. Unless, of course, she's still alive, or changed her mind about having her ashes spread here. So let's wipe this card. You can do this from inside Disk Management Tools. On modern Windows, you can press your Windows key and start typing disk, then create and format disk partitions will appear. Find the volume relating to the drive you want to wipe, right-click and select Format. Then, like before, make sure Quick Format is disabled. 2 points each. The Decider. Item number 5 is an unbranded 1GB microSD card, and is the last item. Who's on top? Us or CeX? I inserted the microSD card into the computer, and there were some files indicating it had been formatted using an Android phone. I'm willing to throw CeX a bone here, if and only if these are the only files and nothing else comes up with file recovery. Here's a word of advice. Formatting using a phone can be effective depending on the app you use to do it, but a standard factory reset isn't really formatting, as this rarely ever zeros bytes. Well, as I suspected, running data recovery on this microSD card pulled up all the owner's previous photographs and video clips, most of which I have had to shred, since they predominantly feature what I assume to be their children. Before I wipe the card, due to the existence of personal family photos, there are a few things from it I can share. The photos were taken between 2011 and 2017 according to the metadata, though likely all in 2017 or thereabouts, I'd wager, based on things I can't show you, like one of the children wearing a Minecraft t-shirt, and 2017 would place us in peak Minecraft popularity. Many photos were taken around the November-December time, due to the existence of a living room Christmas tree, seasonal dinner, and the exchange of festive presents. This card was used in two devices, an LG D405N Android phone, which doesn't have a terrible quality camera for the device's age, and a Samsung GTI 5500 phone. Due to the large number of screenshots of the GTI 5500 lock screen, it was probably easy to take a screenshot of it by accident. A few other things I'd feel comfortable sharing from this card. A few photos of a fairground with stolen copyrighted characters emblazoned all over it, and a classic merry-go-round. Also, this fast food van where... Free onions? In this economy? Well, no, in 2017's economy. Even then, these prices are a great deal for greasy fast food truck grub back then. And these two photos at a glance reminded me of Wumpa Fruit from Crash Bandicoot. Also amongst the recovered files were contact lists, so it's a good job this ended up in my hands and not in the hands of someone nefarious. These V-card files, no, not the kind you're thinking, you dirty little rascals, contain a person's name, phone number, and their contact image encoded in base64 JPEG. I did try to decode the base64 back to JPEG and it didn't work, but someone who understands the format better probably could. This is why we wipe our microSD cards properly. I think phone manufacturers, software designers, and the misguided but well-meaning have created a misconception that factory reset is a complete wipe. It really isn't. Short of introducing some sort of legislation to enforce greater consumer protections, I'm not sure what can really be done besides increasing awareness. Looks like we won this battle, but it was a much closer fought battle this time. CeX does not consistently perform a professional wipe on the storage they sell. This is well understood now after 3 separate challenges. Things were closer this time, and I wonder if, in a few weeks' time, I might grab a haul from CeX and find that the majority of items I've purchased have been wiped. Maybe my video made it to the CEO's boardroom meetings. Maybe I should wear a disguise the next time I walk into a CeX store just to be safe. Safe CeX shopping, if you like. No, but in all seriousness, I've had 5 hard drives out of CeX since, 4 of which were wiped thoroughly. I'm certain my video touched a nerve with CeX. They were most certainly rankled by my last videos. Packages sent to me from CeX had my name highlighted in marker like I'm on some kind of watch list now. Maybe somebody on the inside can confirm whether every shop suddenly received fresh equipment for wiping drives. What should I try next? I'm thinking we could order a computer from CeX, like a full-on desktop computer or laptop, not a Chromebook. It could be costly, so rather than just doing data recovery on it, we could also run it through its paces with some games and software, make the computer sweat, maybe give it some upgrades with whatever I have lying around here in the archive. A spot of spray paint and some accessories. What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments. A quick shout out to our patrons, channel members, and other benefactors. Gorham Gamer, Adam Devine, Mr. Derp, Garlips. And so the CeX saga has closed its 3rd challenge, and we've only just eked ahead. While it might eventually cause a drought in content, what I genuinely want most is for people to take their data security seriously. Although if they did, I never would have found the memory card that started this journey, containing photos of a family get-together in sunny Australia. It's also the only video still under 1,000 views on this channel, so let's change that. Give it a watch if you haven't. For that story, click the on-screen video now, or check out the other channel for gaming livestream content. I've been Escaper British. You've been watching Archive Dive. Until next time, if we live that long.